Coming people, let's start looking at the current headlines and all of that sort of stuff, man. Card. That's what you lot been waiting for. Latest news, timestamp, tab release. Look away now. It's not gonna be pretty at all. So yeah, man, the dream is free. But yeah, sharing my screen. Let's start with this. In fact, Arsenal's injury list. When will Martin Odegaard, Zinchenko, and Emil Smith-Rowe return to boost Arsenal? Or Mikel Arteta and Arsenal better yet. We know we haven't got some key players. We know we're still a couple of players. You look at Saliba and Gabriel, they're still nursing some knocks as well, people. With Odegaard, again, the Norwegian gaffer said, and he missed out the Brentford game because he clearly weren't fit. Apparently, we'll certainly see him in Norway either as a player or fourth coach. It means a lot to have him, and maybe that's why he's captain. Who knows? Odegaard might be a manager one day. I think Cedric's going to end up that, really. He should be available to face Tottenham immediately after the international break, provided he doesn't do any further damage to his injury while away with the national team. And you hope where Partey and Tierney, Tomiyasu are concerned, that is said there as well. Zinchenko's been sidelined with a calf injury, as you lot know, and he couldn't play. He's remained in England. That means he's obviously missed last night's game against Scotland and misses the Armenia game. I think he was suspended for the Scotland game anyway, so he would have been only able to play Armenia and maybe against Mkhitaryan for Gooner. But Arsenal are hopeful the injury is not too serious, however, and believe that he'll be back in action relatively swiftly. They're hopeful that Zinchenko could be back for the North London derby on the 1st of October. El Nene's gone, innit? El Nene's gone. Apparently, it's currently unclear how long El Nene will be sidelined, but early suggestions are that he might not be available until January at the earliest. Like a new signing hype when we get there, innit? Smith-Rowe, again, we need to take our time with it. He said he felt some discomfort in an area that he's been dealing with now for a few weeks. Apparently, it remains unclear, but Smith-Rowe is a doubt for Arsenal's game against Tottenham on October the 1st. Cedric Suarez, apparently sources close. His first game back could be the North London derby. You don't need to be in the squad. Tomiyasu is there. What going for Nelson? Apparently, with Reece Nelson, provided he suffers no setbacks, Nelson should be available for the Tottenham game on October the 1st. Cedric is so lucky we're doing this Portuguese revolution. To be honest, to Edwin Arteta, they took a chance on a few of our summer signings. Nobody knew anything about Sambi or Vieira. I don't think that's harsh. Everybody knew about Vieira. He's playing in Portugal. And you could see my video. I definitely do about Sambi Lokonga, like with Jeremy Doku with things. You took a chance, but at the end of the day, Sambi's not really levels right now. Saliba, is doing his thing. And you're right. You're right, Dermot. Fundamentally, I think everyone thinks young players are just going to go like that. But at the same time, we need to get results. I hear you, but on the harsh thing, we need to get results. Have you got a squad strong enough? If you haven't and you don't, questions should be asked. Same way you get praised, there should be question marks. Blessing in disguise, the El Nene injury. I don't quite agree. I never think it's someone being injured is a blessing. Allegedly, now, until I see this on Arsenal.com, I don't really care. But Arsenal and Saliba are set to reach an agreement for a contract renewal until 2027. So hopefully that is true. But I want to see that on Arsenal.com or more credible sources. I don't know if this Rudy Goletti guy knows his thing. But yeah, allegedly, Arsenal have opened talks with Eintracht Frankfurt over 17 million move for winger Jesper Lindstrom, with Mikel Arteta keen to bolster his squad in January transfer window. Apparently, we've made contact. What is making contact? Is that just light conversations with his agent, seeing the client, which would be the player's willingness to join the deal, how much he might cost, Eintracht Frankfurt's willingness to sell him? I don't know. But according to reports in Germany, we have made contact with the Eintracht Frankfurt Don. The Danish winger obviously helped them win Europa League last year. They're in the Champions League. He started off this campaign very slow, but he's doing all right, really. Despite surprisingly topping the table after 7 games, Arteta is said to be keen on strengthening his small squad after last season saw them lose several players in January, failed to bring anyone in, and eventually missed out on top 4 by 2 points. Obviously, Pepe is gone. Marquinhos may be allowed to leave on loan in January. Don't know what's going on with Nelson in that regard. He might probably just leave for free. He's been capped 5 times for Denmark. He was named Rookie of the Year last season, people. So again, in terms of instant impact, I hope he could, but I wouldn't expect fireworks from the 22-year-old from the jump. But if signing him for 17 million, I'd rather Mudruk. But if signing him for 17 million means there's a few pennies to go around to bring a centre mid or 2 in, I hear it, innit? Blind, who I don't know if they're creditable, also state that a fee of 17 million could be enough to get the deal done. Mudruk is also thought to be of interest to the North London side. If Arteta doesn't get top 4, do you think that's a failure? I think there'd be many successes. Like I think there was successes last season, but ultimately it's a results-driven business. Yes, it would be a failure. Arteta and our club have been very specific in pre-season about top 4 and trophies and stuff like that. You don't get top 4, you don't get final of the Europa League. We don't go as far as we could potentially in the FA Cup or the League Cup or do one of them things. It's a failure. There's no progress there. Pardon me. There is micro processes, tactics, players, all these things, but the short of it would be no. Of course he will. Signed a new deal. He's the head coach and things, and I don't know if he necessarily should be sacked, but question mark. Same way, if you deserve your praise, you should be asked questions if you're not achieving things. Again, that's one report, but it all depends because Romano is contacting the rep of Eintracht Frankfurt star Jesper Lindstrom, an exciting young talent. Still at the moment, I have no confirmation of any proposal or negotiations for Lindstrom. Many clubs also from Italy have sent their scouts to monitor him as he's considered a very good player for the present and future, but no decision has been made by Eintracht Frankfurt about January. It's still too early to say, so read into that what you will, people. Read into that what you will. If we're looking for a wide player, there's the Belgium youngster Jeremy Doku. He's decent, but for me, I need to see a bit more from him before justifying spending the pennies. I need numbers, and I think he's still volatile. We've seen this all week, but Arsenal could return for Manuel Locatelli. I don't believe it, and I'm sure many of you won't go for him as well. So I don't know. Sassuolo wanted to sell him to us. We wanted to buy. He wanted Juventus, so I think case closed, really. Apparently, this article refused to confirm whether there had been any talks between Arsenal or Juventus for Locatelli. And I mean, he's on a 2-year loan. Juventus still need to run the bread, so it could be techie. So I just think this is paper talk, and I'm very pessimistic on anything that links us there. Never seen this 20-year-old FC Lundstrom midfielder, Arden Jashari. Apparently, he's on the agenda of many teams, including Arsenal. I mean, we should always be looking for emerging talents, man. Is that a big team? Someone's gonna miss out, It went from the top 4 to the top 6. It's gonna be a top 10. It's competition. It all depends the context. How Mikel Arteta and Arsenal miss out. We missed out by 2 points last year, which I think is lazy because there was many games where we didn't hold on to leads from winning positions. We didn't start well. Tactics were wrong. Tactics were perfect, but players messed up. Ultimately, we failed. It's a bit like the Emre season when there was too many draws or dropping points from winning positions. But you look at it on a lazy thing, we was a point off. This tells you that in football, the margins are so vital, people. So vital. This is why squad depth, winning games, all these things have never been more important in life, people. DJ, are you up for any content awards? Big up from Ireland. Big up the Irish. Keith, I would say no, man. But who needs that when I got you lot, man? The only award I want is 50,000 subscribers and then 100 and then just to keep getting better, man. That's true winning. All them awards are so superficial and it's all industry and that. I stopped taking that in when I wasn't voted on the 30 under 30 40 blacklist award. Like, people even in the industry said you was unlucky. People even said it just seems like people voting for their brethren. So when I saw that, I was like, cool, it's not for integrity, it's not for work rate, it's not for potential, it's for brethren. So forget all of that. Love for the super chat, Desmond. In regards to our centre midfielder shortage, love for the super chat again. Is Partey a killer defensive mid or a pressing CDM? I think he can play as a box-to-box or a 6, but he's primarily in there to win the ball back and chaperone and make sure that we're not exposed defensively. So you've seen Partey play as a more of a lone 6 at times at Arsenal. You've seen him be a bit more further forward, a ball-winning midfielder. You've also seen Xhaka play different roles. So things are always going to be tweaked, and several other players, really. Love for the super chat. Night, but it's doing you dirty. There you go. Brings it up. So, yeah, we can close that. Just random stats. Arsenal Premier League ranking for defensive line height, 2nd, and press intensity, 4th. So the underlying factors are there. We're doing all right, really. Hopefully we could do a thing there, really and truly, people. And these building blocks keep going. So, yeah, the metrics are good, but we need to keep going. Apparently, points in Premier League after 7 matches in recent seasons, we've got 18 points. That's better than the previous 4 years where from the earliest to now, 18-19 we got 15, 19-20 we had 12. We also had that a year later. We had 2 points less with 10 a year after that, people. So, yeah, we need to just keep going. Arsenal have scored 7 goals in the opening 30 minutes of games this season. So we need to start fast and keep doing that. But also what scares me is second halves. 6 of the 7 goals we have conceded in the Premier League this season have come in the second half. Game management, it's improved, but it still needs to keep going. And there's been a couple of, we should have kept a clean sheet against Fulham because the game should have been put to bed. Should have kept a clean sheet against Villa. Should have kept one out. I'm being a bit harsh with them too. Definitely should have kept one against Leicester. So we need to keep going. We can't get it. There's a good foundation. We need to keep building on the positives and turn the good into great. We need to keep working on the negatives and aspiring for greatness. You know, only Spurs with 7 have scored more headed goals than Arsenal's 4 in the Premier League this season. That tells me set pieces and crosses in the North London derby might be a bit brazy and one to watch. Jesus made his Prem debut against Spurs. Apparently, he just has 1 goal in 9 appearances against them. Hopefully, that turns into 2 in 10. All of the 62 of Gabriel Jesus' Premier League goals have come from inside. Big up Harvey as well. You know, one of the first industry folks start following, man. Have come from inside the area. 58 for City and 4 out of 4 for Arsenal. It's the most goals a player scored in the competition among those with 100% rate from inside the box. Tim Cahill is next. And for me, I don't think we provide Gabriel Jesus with enough service. I think you look at half of his chances or goals or highlights, he's having to just do some bookie Samba skills and just make something happen. I need a bit more clear-cut opportunities for my strikers. And that's been something that I said when Eddie was playing up front, historically with Aubameyang and Lacazette, whether it was Emre or now Arteta. I think that's an underlying problem. I think we can create a bit more clear-cut chances, especially for the big man up front. Arsenal have kept three clean sheets from 4 Premier League away games this season. Hopefully that gets better. In relation to Mudruk, apparently nothing has changed about Shakhtar Donetsk's position on Mudruk. 30 million euro Everton bid turned down. No bid from Arsenal, in brackets, talks with his agent, strong interest, but no proposal made. Shakhtar remain on the same point. They want more than 50 million for Mudruk. So we'll have to see. Maybe that's too little. Maybe that's too much. I felt this might be an interesting article, people. Will Nuno Tavares follow Saliba's path to consolidate? Apparently, Tavares joined from Benfica last summer, went on to make 13 league starts, and obviously provided cover. Apparently, he did struggle. Apparently, WhoScore rating of 6.42 was the lowest of all Arsenal players in the Premier League last season, of those to start at least 5 games. The arrival of Zinchenko, meanwhile, meant playing time would have been further limited had he not departed. Apparently, the Portuguese fullback has benefited from a switch to Marseille, with Tavares far and away their best rated player in Liga this season, having scored a WhoScore rating of 4.79. That's the 8th best overall. And I mean, I hope you could have a future at Arsenal, but if we can turn that 8 million into 28 million in a sell-on clause, keep it moving, man. Yeah, man. That's the 8th best. Where was I? And obviously they play 5 at the back, so he's going to benefit from a wing back. Sao Paulo did use such setup on occasion last season, yet his favoured formation over the duration of the campaign was a 4-3-3, not too dissimilar from Arsenal. So that's just what we know already. With Tavares, though, Arsenal need to not be so hasty in cashing in on the 22-year-old, just as they were with Guendouzi. A bit different, you know. Guendouzi had a bit of problems going on at Arsenal. Admittedly, the latter moved to Marseille on loan with an option to buy, blah, blah, blah. Arsenal have at least opted against including a buy option in the deal, which will be a boost for the Gunners. I mean, if his stock can improve, why not? And he's doing his thing there, really. Apparently, Tavares has completed more dribbles than any other player in Liga. And while a dribble success rate of 37.8 doesn't make for great reading, the on-loan defender's determination, I mean, we know you can get forward, but if you're dribbling to no effect, if you're crossing to no effect, yeah, you scored some goals, but if you're shooting over the bar, it doesn't mean anything. And for me, what I need to know about Tavares is how you improve defensively. Since we've been reading this article, have you seen anything about defending? Whether you're playing in the back three, obviously a guy that can't defend in the back three is going to do better, but if you don't improve defensively, it's a myth. What does stand out, Tavares does do with the ball when he gets into attacking positions. Apparently, instead goes for goal himself. He's had the 16 most shots in the league. He's had 18. Big up himself for that, really. Crucially, Tavares works hard off the ball and allows Marseille to quickly turn into attack. Blah, blah, blah. This is a pretty poor thingy. All right, fair enough. You know, now we're getting into some defensive things. Tavares is vital in that regard, having made the 11th most tackles this season in Liga so far. Fair enough. You know, I'd like to see the positioning and things like that. And you have seen in a couple of games he's been robbed of the ball, but I don't think he's dropped any clangers defensively. I think he's been poor anytime I've seen you in Europe for them. But if you come back a better, solid defender, why not? I disagree with rather game management to defend the league or stick to how we play and score 4, 5, 6 goals. Can't have both. Easy to say in game management, but it doesn't come without a price. I agree with you. I don't think you're listening to what I'm saying. I'm saying clearly, if we concede the more goals in the second half, then we need to be a bit more switched on. As you know, the last 30 minutes of a game are the most vital, and you've seen Arsenal throw it away. Look at the United game. It's very easy to play intense with the first minute. It's very hard when you're tired, when you're out of position, when you're caught on the transition. You can't score 4 or 5 goals a game. We can be a bit more switched on defensively. Clearly, we score goals in the first half, we concede more in the second. Clearly, you can't be an idiot. In terms of getting better, you need to probably decrease that. I hear you, Dom. On the surface, Nuno looks like Mudruk. Allow me, no, he doesn't. Mudrik's actually got a brain. Big up Austin Tusty. He's having a good time at Birmingham, people. What has the Birmingham gaffer said about him? It's an opportunity for Austin this year to come in and play championship football week in, week out. There are loads of things Austin needs to get better and develop at, but he's got so many positives as well. I can't lie, he's better than I thought, just from watching him. I'm not saying he could have a future here, but yeah. And he's going to have he's going to have a really big future going ahead as long as he keeps developing and has the right attitude. I think he's very athletic. He's got everything to play in the Premier League. So why not for Arsenal? We have given him the opportunity to develop and play. He's been in the MLS, which is a different level to this. This is part of his development to come here and play the way he is playing. It's full credit to himself. He'll be the first to say he needs to improve on areas. Austin has a really good chance. Again, if you can make it at Arsenal, why not? If you can make bread for us, even better. Apparently, Arsenal's plan is to send Marquinhos out on loan in January. Again, we kind of knew this already, but yeah, people, we could be sending him out on loan. The idea is that the first part of the season, he's been part of things. He understands the vision that's in place. He then goes away to implement everything that he's learned from this season and makes it impact somewhere else, preferably in a team that plays a similar style to Arsenal. And then they would look for him to return and make his mark. I don't think he's going anywhere long term. He's highly thought of. They just want to make sure they manage the situation carefully. That's cool, man. Big up you. Hopefully you could do a thing here, people. Shout out this. Big up Saka and Ramsdale. I think they've joined the 100th club, people. They've made 100 Premier League appearances, and they're both babies. Ramsdale's a baby for a keeper. Saka, as great as he's, a baby for a winger, and it's quite testament, people. Apparently, the attacker becomes the second youngest player to play 100 times for us in the Premier League, behind only Cesc Fabregas. And in his first 100 games, he scored 17 goals while assisting 15 more. Big up Aaron Ramsdale, people. He completed his century back in April away at Crystal Palace, with his game spread across spells at 3 clubs, as you know. 12 of his 22 clean sheets have come in his first 100 games. Would come for us last season, a campaign that saw him handed his England cap. Shout to him. Shout all the guys that have been called up for England youth at various levels. Patino played yesterday. Brooke Norton Coffey apparently he's had to withdraw with a knock, but he's done his thing. Couple young demons. Koza Dewberry probably wasn't on the bench against Brentford because he went off with England. Lino Sosa, who technically, Koza was there, but why did Lino join later? But yeah, it is what it is. Them man are there. Ethan and Miles Lewis Skelly are obviously with the other under 17. So yeah, man, shout out the demons. Big up James Sweet. He plays a bit like a poor man's Charlie Patton, and I think benefited a couple of second-year scholars benefited last year or the year before. I'm losing my mind now, of the Patinos and all these guys being away, and he scored a vital goal the other week as well. I like James Sweet. I don't think he made the grade here, but yeah, Henry Jeffcott, don't think he'll make the grade at left back. Got sent off on a silly thing, but yeah, shout out to the young bulls for doing their thing, man. The future's bright. Again, 4:15 p.m. UK time. We're watching England's under 21s against Italy today, people. Hopefully, Balogun's involved, people. So yeah, moving away from that. Don't know why I got out twice. Shout out Tierney. He played against Scotland. People, he got 86 minutes. And, big up Graham. I trust him. He's a fellow Scot and he's here all the time. He said he played quite well. Hopefully there's no setbacks and things. Turner and Tomiyasu are to face off in a friendly. Hopefully no one gets in any issues there. Already said this with Saka and Ramsdale. Kind of already alluded to that. Boy, Usmanov, apparently police have raided villas tied to the former Arsenal shareholder amid money laundering probe. Feds did a sweep, boy. It's all along. Maybe we got rid of Donny at the right time, or he cut out at the right time. William's been talking, man. He chats too much, really. You said how you wanted to play for Arsenal, stunk up the place. You wanted to go back to Brazil, stunk up the place. Fulham, you're probably going to stink up the place as well. But anyway, skipping to what he said with Arsenal, I think maybe he says he has great respect for the gun. He said, I think I'm maybe the only player who's done something like this. Any other player in my situation would have stayed until the end of the contract and kept picking up the money. Me too. But I'm not like this. Money is not the most important thing in the world. Nah, it's not, but generational wealth and that. I have to feel good to feel motivated to go training. I wasn't having that there, so I decided to leave. For most of the season, we was playing without fans. Didn't see Arsenal fans. Maybe I needed to feel the buzz of the crowd. Then it was something I missed. It was a difficult moment, not just for me, but everyone in the world. To play without fans at a new club is not easy. But hey, fans might have drew you out still. On the last day there, I spoke with Mikel Arteta. I thanked him a lot for what he's done for me, for bringing me to Arsenal. I just wished him all the best. He's a good manager and I have great respect for Arsenal. They're doing well. They have good players. They can achieve good things this season. Well in Willian for that, but you're meaty still. Anywho, away from any of that, we already know about this, people. So yeah, I think that brings that puts an end to any sort of talking points or things like that. Really, we can have a browse, but there probably is little to nothing about, really and truly. We saw them Balogun comments yesterday. I'm not going to read the same thing. So yeah, man, where that's concerned, people, that's that. Where's my timestamps? What's the time on the